Hi, everyone. Today on Kai's Musings, Kai has got some. Have you put any new discussion paperwork in the Discord or no?
Do I have a channel there now? I haven't seen a channel that.
Oh, shit. Which one do you want to affect? The TKD? I want you to be in the TDG myself. Are you in the TDG group or no?
That's the only one I'm in.
Okay. I want to
I'm
put
not
a.
in the D20 group at all.
It. It's understandable. Let me add the channel for Kai's Musings. All right, we have a brand new channel there for Kai's Musings, and I'm going to put that in right over by die rolling. Okay,
All right.
so um, I'm sorry that I haven't had a forum for you to operate in. I forgot all about that. Shit.
Yeah, I think when we kind of abandoned Gilded, so
Did you copy all that stuff?
yeah, it's all no, it's already saved somewhere. It's saved elsewhere.
Yes. Okay. If you want to port that over, you can. You don't have to, but it's up to you. I want to talk about organic character development tonight. I don't know if we've done that before or not.
Not in a while.
It's a good thing to revisit and discuss, in my opinion, because it's something that I want to drill that into GMs because they shape the game. They shape the way that the games are played, and when you have somebody that is dogmatic and they're talking about getting players to play your character, play your character. That way, the characters naturally take avenues and choices. They're not optimal by any means. Um, you do have those optimal choices with this system because I do like having the edges as like an extra feat or something. But the edges so far, like the edges in this game are kind of like the abilities from like the classes, and there's abilities that you choose and such as time goes on because more things become available. And like in Pathfinder, like you have to have like the remedy the maladies. You have to have lay on hands first. If you don't have that, you don't get the ability to cure disease, or you don't get the ability to lay your hands on somebody and cure them of a shaken or fearful condition. You have to be able to do that. And so, like, because we've taken a lot of the special abilities out of each of the classes from various other systems, we can then do every third level get an edge. And because I want the characters to develop at a slower pace in this than I do like in a regular PF game or in a regular 3.0 game, and I stretch the levels out so it's not like we're only going to level 20. No, 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 no. We're going to go to level 36 because if you're able to cast like ninth level spells in Pathfinder, you're never really able to augment shit. You don't get the ability to put like a meta magic feat on a meteor storm, right?
Right.
You're just stuck. You're ninth level. That's where I cap at. And I'm not a super fan of that. I want I want the players to be able to fucking move heaven and earth at the high levels where moving heaven and earth is something that you plan doing to do, or it's a happenstance of things that will happen because you and somebody else got together and you plan to reshape this geography this way. Something kind of like that. And I want that level of game to where we definitely have that. Maybe I'm wrong for wanting such a thing, but I think the edges kind of help with that. And there was a game called Fantasy Trip or something that took 3.0, and it just was like, as you level up, here's your base attack and here's your saves, but you get these choices every level or every fourth level, whatever it was. And basically, they took out all the special abilities where, like, instead of getting at seventh level automatically, a fighter can run around in heavy plate mail. You had to take, your other things. You had to be able to run around in good light armor. You had to be able to be good in medium armor. Then you got the heavy armor mobility, and I like that. And I want to take out the feat trains because I like the idea of combat expertise. I don't feel that maybe a wizard would get that ability as just a natural development of him being in tactical combat. I feel that he would probably understand what total defense is, like the turtle maneuver. Oh
Yep.
God, But I don't think
Right.
he'd understand combat expertise. I don't want to make that a fucking feat because if you make that a feat, then nobody picks it.
Um, I know a few, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's not that it's unoptimized, but the feats that are required for later use to me would come in a lot handier at the lower levels. And in 3.0, 3.5, and even in Pathfinder, you still start for feat choices. So I like the idea of combat expertise just being one of those things that you can naturally do once you get a BAB over a certain point. I think that would just be something normal because you understand how to fight. You understand, like, oh, if this guy's moving like this punch or this swing or this object is coming my way, I can move over here, and my dodge bonus should help me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Honestly, you're not that wrong. I mean, you're not wrong. God, I know it's something that I've been trying. Like, I know I've experimented with was the idea that I think over the years between table breakers and here and as GMing, I kind of wished for the idea that combat expertise should be something that everybody should be able to just do. Like, you should be able to dump your base attack into defense, because blocking and parrying and knowing how to move better rather than just simply saying, oh, it's just your armor class plus your dex. Congratulations, that's your defense score. And that's going to be what it is for all time. And it's just automatic take 10. And I'm like, can I have a skill? Well, you can take a feat for dodge. Okay. You can take a feat for combat expertise. Okay. And there's other things you could do to boost that AC up some higher, but you're still running the idea of what you mentioned of blowing feats to be able to do it. And that's kind of not fun. It's not fun.
No.
Because you know that all you're doing is slowing down, like you're blowing feats so that way you can not die. That's it. And you're not improving your abilities, you're just slowing down the other guy on their ability to hit you, especially since everybody's attack values increase far faster than their defense score ever does. And I think it's why I was constantly I still am looking for better ways to make defense more interesting without having to say play a swashbuckler. I think then again, I'm also the camp that swashbuckler is probably the most fun martial class ever created because it offers the ability to do the parry action, which allows you to roll your attack against their attack, and if you're higher, you can block.
Yeah.
It. Holy shit! But you can only do that once per round, but still, that's once. Wow. But you got to be a special class that doesn't get to wear armor and is kind of actually a lame class to get the one cool ability that they actually get. And because they're kind of a bargain basement discount rogue after that one parry ability. Yeah, they got other shit in there fun too, and they are a fun class. But to do the one thing that you should be able to see happen in almost any form of martial, any kind of fighting that you see is, hey, look, I block.
It that doesn't make, from a gaming standpoint, like especially where the offensive ability is so fucking crazy.
Yeah, where it's rocket tag. I, at higher levels, it's rocket tag. You get hit once and you're losing a quarter to half your hit points from a single strike. And which is okay, it's cool. I play other games that are of extreme lethality. I'm okay with that. But most of the games that have extreme lethality have a way to say no. Like, hey, look, you're about to get hit. I have a way to counter that. I have a way to block it. I have a way to dodge it, deflect, do something to not just stand there like a goober and get hit. Except for when you play a Pathfinder D&D game, which is the whole reason why it's rocket tag. Who goes first? Who hits hardest? Who hits the most often? And they win because.
And worse yet, like that's always the archer.
Yeah, and the archer hits you 3 or 4 bam, 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 bam. His attack value, and he gets to fire two shots at the highest attack value. Bam, bam. He hits you for a half or more of your hit point total, and you might just die from that opening salvo. Plus, he's got a good chance of his third hit hitting you. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and next round if you don't find cover, you're probably dead because he's gonna poke you with so many arrows. You're gonna look like Boromir at the end of Fellowship.
Fellowship of the Ring. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. You're just gonna get Boromired, and that's especially as hit points have gone up. Hit points have gone up. Attack values have gone up, and damage. Spellcaster damage hasn't really followed after very well. I think this is why I have honestly moved away more and more from Pathfinder or a D20 based game because it's too riddled with the problems, or I've had to organically provide ways to just go, no, everybody, you have a parry, you have a dodge, or you have something that you can roll to try to avoid being murdered. Because since I don't run monsters as monsters, I don't run monster heavy encounters, and most of my villains are player PC classes. I class characters. They're built on the same frame as player characters, so it's constantly it's GM versus player, but you're against other people who are leveled characters just like you are, and fights turn into rocket tag. What's your AC? 27. I hit you.
Yeah.
And I hit you again.
If I roll you're better on the first 2 attacks.
I'm going to roll now because my third attack has a 50% chance of hitting. Oh dear.
And hello, Six Nations. Yeah. It makes no sense to have that much happen. And I want hit points to kind of represent players honing their character as having a lot of luck, but unfortunately the D20 and the Pathfinder, it really, like, I guess maybe this system might be wrong with it too, but like Ogre, he's got like damage reduction 1 right now.
Yeah.
and he's got over 102 hit points. He's got 102 hit points right now as a fifth level barbarian, and he's really good at just slaughtering his foes.
Yep.
I mean, with his war axe on fire and he's raging, he gets a plus 55 to hit for 3 die 8 cleaving and a die 6 of fire plus 9.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Now, I'm going to. I know it's not a good game engine. It was a horrible D20 module, but it was the Besem D20 rules. They are garbage, but they introduced a thing I used for a long time, which was they introduced a an actual skill roll for defense. And so you have the option in that one to choose between, do you take your base attack or do you buy a skill that allows you to have a attack roll and a defense roll. So therefore it's like it was the idea of I can go with my class or I can blow skill points and actually improve my ability through actual practice. Martial characters didn't need to do it because, well, they already had, a bonus every level, so they didn't need to spend the points. But they could spend the skill for defense, the skill points on defense, and it gave the ability to have everybody else who has a shitty attack line the ability to go, wait, no, I can actually keep up with, if I blow a skill point, I can keep up with the fighter. Yes, you're still fragile as fuck. You really couldn't do much, but it gave you more options. I imported that for a long time, and most of my players went, nah, I don't need it. But for a few players who go, yeah, I want to be able to keep up with the fighter, or I want to be able to not die all the time.
not dying is nice.
And knowing that, sure, blowing that defense score and going, okay, this is my score for the rest of the round to be able to not die. So here's your new target number to be able to hit me. Yeah, they're not doing anything else that round because they're spending it all doing a skill. They're moving and doing a skill. And at that point, I'm going, cool. You're choosing to not die rather than attack or rather than doing something more productive. But it meant that somebody could choose, I don't want to die today as their option. And I was totally cool with that. And it's like, now, would I suggest it for anybody else, in anybody else's game? Maybe, maybe not. But it worked for my group because, well, they knew that because I play Rocket Tag, where if you're caught out in the open and there's like 5 guys shooting at you, you're going to die.
Yeah.
But
that's not Rocket Tag. 5 guys shooting at you, you need to seek cover and concealment and be able to take these guys on one at a time if you're going to even be on the offense at some point.
Yeah. But it's like, but choosing to go, and it's like, and if you play traditional D&D, well, your only option is stand out in the open, and most of the time you stand out in the open. Like, what do you get when you hide behind partial cover? A +1 to your AC, a +2. And at that point, most dedicated attack characters go, I can hit you. I can hit that in my sleep, especially if you're not an armored assault character or you're not a super agile character. And suddenly I'm going, well, I don't want all of my players to either be super dex monkeys or walking or the Terminator walking in full plate mail, full plate tower shield with reinforced reinforced armor enhancements plus an armored skirt plus plus stone, plus mountain armor enhancement, and their speed is slow, but their AC is better. But then again, later on, I was trying to find different ways to make armor better. New materials, new production, and new ways to enhance it, so that way things weren't just simply a static number. So there was actually modifications. Like, this is what grew up out of an organic way of figuring out. Okay, my players like options without having to resort immediately to magic. Magic is the only solution, and magic is going to give you a meager minor bonus, especially like where the bonuses made sense in older editions, where the rate of progression wasn't as immense. But as you level up, like first level it makes sense. A +1 or a +2 is an immense major increase. But at 10 to 12, a +1 increase really isn't doing much for you. So I was trying to find ways to say, here's some things that you can invest your money into, rather than just simply, here's a new magical enhancement, here's a new magical thing. Yeah, it turned into materials, it turned into working around with equipment. Yeah, I was pulling some pages out of the idea of like level 2, level 3, level 4 plate carriers, and different kind of plates you throw in there, and having different modifications, and it created this really complex armor system that took armor from, okay, and I threw on the ability to layer on different advantages and different things, so it balanced out, and it created this really cool way of making weapons without having to resort to, well, sorry, peasant, you can never become better than masterworked. Congratulations, the best you're ever going to get. Yeah. Without having to turn to a wizard. Well, a wizard did it. I don't want a wizard doing it. But then again, I'm also somebody who utterly despises the idea that there's no advancement without magic. So
we're seeing the magic and the martial on this kind of keeping pace with each other so far.
Oh, that's good. That's honestly good.
Like the most threatening characters in the group, I'm gonna say, like Ogre's deadly as shit, but his axe is slow. His swing time on that is a 12. But that's when he's raging. If he power attacks, it adds 2 to the speed factor, representing the umph required. So it goes from 12 to 14. And it drops the accuracy by 10%, but his damage is increased by 6 for that axe. And that's going to go up again at level 9. But that's 14 seconds. Now, in 7 seconds, the wizard Mongoose can cast his magic missile. I think there's not a real comparison there. A lot of players would rather be like, I don't want to get hit by the axe. I'll take the magic missile.
Yeah.
But there's the wild die factor. And with my game, like 4s on a D4 explode.
Okay.
So there's a 25% chance with every one of those fucking polyhedrals that hits the fucking table that you're going to be hitting a lot more than just fucking, up to 25 damage. He's had like a 41 point magic missile before.
That's not bad.
No. That's really good. And that's kind of like the wild factor. But the characters, as Bruce would say it, I think the ones I would worry about the most are actually like Sylvia and Lemmy, because Sylvia gets in, and what'll happen with her every 6 seconds, Sylvia is gouging with two daggers, and her daggers are 2 dice 6 plus 1 damage. If she's flanking with somebody, she drops an extra 3 dice 6 precision damage per strike. So whenever Ogre goes out and starts getting in position to start wailing on somebody, she's tumbling after him. And one of the things that she's going to learn how to do is do a tumbling attack. And that's already deadly as shit because she's going to get one of those daggers as she comes in, whack. Now she's got flanking on somebody because Ogre's there. And then after that, it's just every 6 seconds, she's getting with two attacks. And then every fucking 12 or 14 seconds, depending on how Ogre feels. Am I raging today or not? He's getting that fucking war axe. And yeah, her to hit's only 25%. And be happy she didn't roll ambidextrous on her fucking quirk trait. But otherwise, it'd be higher. She'd get like a plus 30 or plus 35 to hit. But her fucking ability, like every 6 seconds, she's coming in cutting. Lemmy, he's got a short sword that he's good with. So every 7 seconds, if he's in, just a slog with somebody, he's almost as quick as she is. So the game gets excessively deadly when combat dice are rolled, and that's what I want. As a GM, I don't want 5 hours of combat.
Right.
And so, like, this is getting closer to my ideal game where it's almost like we're playing Legend of the Five Rings. It's all good when we're in, like, diplomacy mode or we're just doing exploration. But once the dice start to tumble on the table, the persons involved with the scrum are going to go back to the cleric going, oh, God, heal me up quick. Because fucking combat hurts.
I hope so.
And that's what I want. I want games to be fast and deadly and fucking rough. Fucking it needs to be like that. It needs to be just absolutely staggering with the amount of volume of damage that can happen, because we're seeing the combat from the Ukraine and from other war zones where you see guys getting in a knife fight. I saw a really nasty knife fight earlier this week. People have been talking about it for a while. I finally discovered it. And this Russian and this Ukraine got into a fucking knife fight, and the fucking Ukrainian fucking bested the Russian. And like after a few stabs, like the Russian was unable to continue, and he knew it was over, and he just kind of like he nodded his head at his opponent, and his opponent understood and just fucking killed him right there. And it was just like shit. That within a span of like 10 seconds, it's over.
Yeah.
Fucking A. I mean, I know that sounds like, wow, you're really brutal, Bruce. No, I think games should reflect that. I don't want to have a game where Travis is here in chat. Hey, Travis.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a rough fucking fight to watch, and like afterwards, you kind of felt bad for the Russian because he wasn't a bad fighter, but the fucking Ukrainian was deadly as shit with that fucking knife. And the last thing you want when you're running a game is like this represents 6 seconds of combat, and then like the players roll their dice, then they roll their damage, and they count their damage. That's their first attack. And that takes you 15 seconds for that tally. It's like, God damn it. I have 8 players in this game. And
I'm gonna be here for a while.
Pathfinder's the worst one about that. The full round action just fucking makes me hate Pathfinder.
I honestly wish I could say that that Pathfinder 2 is better, but man, they fucked that. Like, for all the things they improved, they fucked the game over. They fucked it up in so many other ways. Like, where it improved, I loved it because it did make things better. But where they fucked it up, boy, did it fuck up, and it fuck up bad. It's playable. In fact, it's very playable, but it's not fun.
Pathfinder 2e is worse than the system I'm currently running. That's my test bed, because my test bed game, it's sadly it optimizes a lot. Like it like you take the most preferred action, and that's just what you hit, repeat, spam, 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 spam. And I hate that, but at the same time, I'm also trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I do, give options? And so I figured out how to do iterative attacks with this system, and I'll just share with you Marshall's Ogre's screen here. So his speed factor with his war axe, the first attack will happen 10 seconds after he starts to swing. And if he does an iterative attack, instead of just doing another first attack, he'll do follow up the combo 9 seconds later. So 10 and 19 seconds, or 12 and 21. I figured out how to do that, and that's kind of a dumb idea for some, but for me, that really works for the campaign. But I don't like the spam, but at the same time, the damage values are so fucking crazy that he's going to drop most people within 2 hits with that war axe, and that's it. There's just going to be this fiery, burning corpse with these burn marks, where this war axe of fire just whipped out and ripped somebody to shreds, and then burned them, cooked them.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I was thinking about trying to integrate how armor detracts from damage, I think I might have to go back to the old Ultimate Combat, where light armor gives 1 point of DR, medium armor gives 2 points, and heavy armor gives 3. I think I might do that just to represent like how the heavy armor can absorb shit. But the other thing, Travis said something where adding stamina points in a game. And I actually already do that, because after the first minute of combat in that system, I start figuring in negatives. Not big negatives at first, because back in high school, when we wrestled for 6 minutes. You had 3 rounds of 2 minutes each, with like a little 20-second breather between. And we learned how to get good with 6 minutes. In fact, there were a lot of practices where we would wrestle for 45 minutes out of 2 hours. And you build up your stamina fast, but if you're in combat where you're pushing your body weight against somebody else's body weight and they're pushing theirs back on you, you will fatigue fast. And I think that kind of represents how this game is. But nobody has really felt that fatigue yet, except for Isabu. And so the way that I have it set up is that for every 5% bonus you have for like your base attack, that's like an extra minute where you can delay that combat fatigue. And so, of course, the barbarian is fine. He's good for 8 minutes. Isabeau and Isabeau's every 3 levels she gets a plus 10%. So she's level 8. She can last for about 4. And then the thieves are actually about the same. They can last for about 4 minutes before they start suffering really bad fatigue points. Where when the fatigue starts to hit, it's negative 15%. Then it's negative 30 the minutes after that. And just the fucking strength modifiers that you had on your bonus damage, start going away because you just lack the umph to drive it home. Okay. Combat's quick. Look at Operation Acid Gambit. Kurt Muse was rescued from prison during a firefight. He said it felt like a half hour, and it took 5 minutes from fight to rescue to crash. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it should be. Hold on, my wife's playing copyrighted music. Okay. So I'm really pleased with the way things are proceeding so far, but I do want to reward the higher level characters because they should be able to stand on their feet a little longer than most. And that should represent like somebody who's been in, active duty and they're doing some form of like extended operation. Heaven forbid you have to swim for 2 miles to get to an oil rig, and then you got to climb up these fucking verticals to get to the platforms. Yeah, wife is like, I'm streaming right now, Mom. Stop playing your music.
Yeah.
So now you got to do things like, I need them to be able to retain their breath. And I want that so much for a game. I want that. I want the tension, but in the dramatic moments, that's when you start seeing like debuffs come into play and such. That's why I really like the high level work in Pathfinder. Like when you have scroll caddies out there just dropping greater dispel magic on the players, and like you just see their buffs just dropping. I shouldn't take so much happiness from that, but I do. I'm not trying to make Travis your paladin turn paladin spell into back into cleric, but there are some very critical points where like this should be you're fighting against the king of hell right now, and I need you to not be at a 10. I need you to be at an 8. There's 6 of you. But at the same time, I need the dramatic effect for game. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but what are you thinking?
Honestly, I just had a bit of brain fart. I had an idea, then I lost it. I really just lost. I lost my entire train of thought for a second there, and I'm trying to get it back.
Okay, I'm gonna run some memes for a minute because
okay.
we've got memes.
All right.
I don't know if this is going to cause an echo. I hope it doesn't.
Edge.
My uncle is a leader of Scientology. Scientologists are waiting for their superpowers, but instead of leaving behind the sacred materials that would grant these powers, their founder was too busy doing something else. I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago. I was there when I took out the current mortgage on Rivendell.
Ow. That's right. 50-year mortgages.
When you like so many anti-Semitic memes that you start getting pro-Islam stuff. Whoa! Hey, wait a second here.
Nope.
The GM makes clearly an overpowered monster, intending for the party to flee. Hit him with your crossbow, Steve.
That's every party I know.
So you think the Imperium of Man are the good guys?
I do.
I do. And I'd like to have you stop pretending it's not. Ernest goes to Waterdeep. You know, it's nice to see a happy, fucking, angry, fucking beholder. We need bad beholders. Leaving the thrift store on payday. Oh, God.
Yes.
New York City on January 1st, 2026. What's going to happen to the goat?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Thank you, Travis, for that. Do we have any memes over here? Mark Levin. Yes, she is. Marjorie, the traitor green, is disgrace to the great Republican Party. This is why, I guess. Track IPAC. Marjorie Taylor Greene has received no money from IPAC.
Yeah. She hasn't been bought off in Israel.
How to Survive Without Food Stamps by Jeffrey Dahmer.
Ow.
And the award for Best Villain of the 1980s goes to... Good God. That's a hell of a fucking rogues gallery. Would you say it's Gargamel?
I don't know. I think I would go with Sunbow Cobra Commander.
I always liked Cobra Commander, but then we got Shredder, Megatron, and Skeletor there too. Avenger was
just their 80s incarnations. That's the problem here.
There's no Serpentor.
I mean, Mum Ra's there. He's pretty okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eating between respawns. If Adam and Eve had an argument, would it be a world war? School janitor. Welcome to A Dog in Hell. I thought all dogs go to heaven. Chihuahua. Welcome home, my friend.
Oh, my friend. Properties do be nice.
I wonder if my ancestors would be proud of me. The powdered wig says no. The caveman, yes.
The caveman is right. Eat your
Florida. Eat your family first. When you're already doing 109 different tasks at work and your boss calls your name. Yes, Satan? Pick a number from 1 to 50. 20. I will not communicate with you and I will not use Chat GTP for 20 days. Can I pick another number? Yes, 50.
There's the proper answer right there.
Yeah, I don't use Chat GTP. I want to use Grok, but I have to download it, I guess. The 80s was so fucking chaotic with the programming available. There were some really good shows in the 80s, and the bad thing is that I stumbled into this YouTube pit. I try not to use YouTube too much. Oh, Rumble. I've got Crowder, and I've got all the guys I really want to watch for my edgy boy shit, and that's what I use Rumble for. It's really good for that. Like the Tuesday night toxic movie review with Nick Weiser. That was a favorite show that I was on, and I love Nick. I think he's great. But then you have sometimes you get on YouTube and it's like, oh, are you Gen X? Well, here's an episode of Night Court. Here's an episode of WKRP. Here's an episode of Taxi. And the next thing I know, I'm losing sleep because it's like 7 p.m. at night. I should be in bed by now, but I got to see how this episode ends. You know, I haven't seen this episode of Night Court in over fucking 30 years. And I'm fucking in love. I forgot how good John Larroquette was written. I forgot how good Harry Anderson was at being just a crackpot judge. So much fun to watch. And fucking Richard Mole was one of the best actors of his generation. Yeah, he was a B movie actor for the most part, but he was so good as Bull. And it just like I don't know if it's the fact that it's nostalgia, which it might probably be, or if it's the fact that the 80s programs were so well done. The death of me and my job will be me falling asleep behind the wheel of that truck because earlier that night I watched an entire Thursday night of NBC. And I started off with Cosby Show, followed by Different World with Cheers, then Night Court. And if I do 2 Thursday nights, I'm completely into my 8 o'clock hour at night, and I should be in bed, but I'm watching TV with my mouth agape. Not a good idea. Armadillo. I don't know. I'm just very happy that we had the life that we had, and I think it was the fact that we had such high value
Hey there, nerdy.
entertainment. The high value entertainment was so good. It's hard to watch TV nowadays, I'll say that much. Travis, do you want in? I'm going to open it up to Travis and the other members of our chat if they wish to come in and discuss things, their favorite things about gaming or organic character development or just whatever's on their mind. All right, guys, the TDG group, today's gaming group, including Nerdy. If you guys went in, and the reason why I say including Nerdy, he wasn't in today's game. He had stuff going on. But I'm going to open it up because I do want to see.
You really didn't realize it either.
What? Say again? Say again, Kai? The judge on Night Court also had an armadillo behind him on the bookshelf. Yeah. I don't know why, but that was on that episode. That was on that show for like all the seasons. I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me about that, Travis. Crafting Gamer. Hey, sir. How you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, organic character is actually a good subject for kind of sliding over to my game a little bit because one of the key I think it was Kai who I was talking to, but he wasn't where I first heard it. That kind of, for lack of a better term, did the final push for like a traveler style system. It has a name, I already forgot, for building your characters.
Like the life path system.
Where you roll for everything at any rate. Thank you, yeah. Life path, yes. Worst part is I knew what it was when I came into the channel, and it just poof the moment I said hi.
Okay. This is
because after I
seen this or not, but
your book,
and this is the document for the game that I've got. And like after you buy your class in your race, you have priors and particulars. So you figure out how old you are, no big deal. You got your age table right there. It tells you start at 8. If you're a dwarf, roll 4 die 8, add it to 40. Aging effects, there you go. Lets you know when you start suffering some physical ailments. Maybe get a few bonuses in your wisdom and intelligence. Here's table 3C. This is really important. This is you're born ambidextrous or you're not.
Yeah.
120 left-handed, 30 to 100 is right-handed. And hey, nerdy.
Howdy, howdy.
I don't know if you guys have this or on your characters. I don't think I really did this with you guys, but you have circumstances of birth where you're legitimate. Your parents are married at the time, or you weren't. And if you're not, your parents weren't married, roll an illegitimate birth table. Well, your character was abandoned at birth. Your parents are unknown. Mom was or is a prostitute. Father, we don't know who that is. So you'd have negative 30 starting silver. And then you have like mom was your mom was given a bad sexual assault, negative 40 starting silver. And as you can tell, I'm writing this as we discuss this.
Yeah.
But then your adulterous affair, 50% possible for the father who it is, and another 50% extra 20 silvers because of hush money. Then you have status of parents. Celebrity parent starting silver is going to be 1.5 more than usual. Parents are living, parents are deceased, characters orphaned. Quality of parents. Character points. You get character points in this game for having a normal life growing up. That means that you got treated pretty okay. And character points are used to help you building your character up. Here's the statuses of your birth, events during your birth, lower class birth, middle class, upper class. At 70 out of 100, it starts getting weird. Outside of your race, you're adopted by something not your mom and dad. You're adopted by somebody else of your race. At 78, 81, dropped in your head. So you get a physical quirk table roll. Blessed birth, because something from ancient antiquity, something happened that it might have ruined an enjoyable life. Raise your ability scores to the minimum of the paladin class. And understand that the community this character is from will be either heavily harassing said blessed character or be offering help at every opportunity. Worse yet, you could be given the wrong milk from birth to puberty, and you were very sickly. So you get minor physical quirks. I mean, this is just something that I've borrowed from other games like Rollmaster, adopted by Fae, raised by beasts. Here's an interesting one: adopted by the dead. Celestial beings attended your birth and took you to live with them in the cosmos. They expanded your view, not just of the world, but larger multiverse. So once per day for 6 seconds, as an immediate action, get a +5 trait bonus to a saving throw of your choice. Raised by fiends. Raised by an outsider, spares no malice or depravity, giving you the most disturbing upbringing. You're fashioned with the explicit purpose of causing large numbers of souls to be recruited to the fiend's plans, and so to sink the hearts of many bystanders who witness such evil. So you get things kind of like a life path, and then here's the minor flaws and quirks. The minor ones are like animal type antipathy, you're colorblind, you're clumsy fingered. The big ones, you're accident prone, afraid of the dark, double arm amputee. And for every 4 character points, you can opt to raise a ability score point by 4 points. So, I mean, I do have a life path style system set up within this game before we get into the classes.
Yeah.
And the classes that are detailed, like we do some fun stuff. But I wanted you to have a life path style of events. Nerdy, how are you feeling today, sir?
I'm okay. Having a bit of tummy trouble, but something I eat, I guess. But I'm getting better.
Kai,
That's
you okay,
always
bud?
good.
I'm okay.
Okay, just making sure because you look like you're either reading or falling asleep.
No, I'm okay.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Do you need the coffee?
No, I already had coffee. I don't need more.
Okay.
I got energy drinks.
I've seen Kai on energy drinks. You can do that to him, but you're asking for either the Basset Hound response or you're getting the Taco Bell dog on Rippets.
I miss Rippets.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I have no idea what that is, honestly.
Okay, it was an energy drink additive. You ripped open this little packet that had guarana and taurine and all the shit that Monster has basically put a giant trademark on, and you dump it in whatever you're drinking.
Ah.
And I was told it was supposed to be water, but I was being shown this by veterans who were putting it in their whiskey or tequila.
Oh yeah, there was. Oh, so that's what. Okay. Well, there was an energy drink that was like alcohol and energy drink that was like, from my understanding, inspired by people doing something like that.
They had to take that off the market, I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like they have a new version of it that has different ingredients, but before it was like the combination got you like it was like it wasn't super drunk, but it was like some sort of really weird intoxication that was like somewhere between being high and drunk at the same time, and people are like, "Oh, this is great. Let's just keep drinking," and several people ended up in the hospital because of it. I was actually curious about that one. This was
The tobacco, the tobacco effect.
Yeah.
I think this was one of them. And this was a 6.0 alcohol by volume, but it had like a lot of B12, I think.
You know what I miss? I miss the Monster BFG. They quit selling those because people started getting heart problems. BFG was the big can. It was like 42 ounces. And people were getting them and they were drinking them like soda. They were drinking like 3 or 4 in a day. And it's supposed to be like one that lasts all day.
Yeah, I think it's drinking them like soda. I think it'd be more appropriate to say they were drinking them as if they were regular sized energy drinks, literally at the same exact rate.
Don't do it.
And I mean, I had one, and I made that sucker last for like 4 hours.
I usually will have. Go ahead.
No, Travis is saying I broke my hand in a mosh pit after I drank Sparks when it was still an energy drinks and alcohol.
Oof.
And then they also had Four Loko, which I've had Four Loko. And then smokes, energy drinks, and coffee before beer and liquor later. My kidneys and liver hate me. I'll shut up now. Go ahead, guys.
But yeah, like when with my get back to the gaming with my system, and it comes to the life path, it's actually kind of a twofold. I think I said it. I think I've written it down where you can either choose your occupation beforehand and like do all that, like build your character, or you can just do the basic building, like here's the stats of my character, and then start rolling on the table, which includes your occupation, and your stats automatically get adjusted for the occupation that you roll for, except the magic user, because I've said this many times, it's basically a magic user from Mage the Ascension, and I don't want you just rolling into that. You have to have the stats for that.
I'm thinking of the Mage the Ascension. Go ahead, Kai. Go ahead.
Wait a moment. What was this about Mage the Ascension?
Oh, my magic user. He's basically Mage the Ascension, with just without so many steps.
Wait a moment. You actually have a really okay.
I'm still working on it. I've definitely want to send it through you, but yes.
Okay, so we got spheres of magic, levels of levels of Arete, plus the ability and a bunch and a and an actual point system that powers it. It's
Well, you don't have the levels of Arete, but you do have the points to power it. Like the more powerful you want it to be, the more I think I call them spirit points or spell points or something like that that you have to spend to create it. And if unless you're playing without it, there's also a group system for power. But in general, so you get a good idea. So it's the spheres of basically magic are green, which is healing in earth or creation. Life and creation would be more appropriate. Life and creation or earth. Like red is fire and destruction. Blue is wind and change. Ice. Purple is ice and permanence. Electricity. Yellow is electricity and power. Silver represents high technology and magic, but not like where you have all the other spheres of magic individually. This is like, oh, I want to do something magical, not just like based. But that's also where you can get some of your more interesting. Oh, I create a mini sun above you. Yeah, that's not just going to be fire. You're going to put in a few other things in there too, such as the silver.
oh,
I'm just gonna say that like Travis has said something that I just kind of echo, and then he's like, "I'd run Mage the Ascension game sometime."
I like Mage the Ascension.
I have been wanting to play it since I first heard of it.
Okay, first off, Mage the Ascension is a very crazy, chaotic game that it's nuts. It's a fantastic game, but boy, you're gonna spend more time arguing about how you're trying to. It's fun, but you might actually the idea that tech is your catch-all, where all of your element. Have you thought about possibly looking at the Wheel of Time? Or
I think that's one of the books you suggested to me before.
yeah, because here's the thing about when trying to do a Mage the Ascension game, style magic thing is that it's not as like it's nebulous, but it's not something that you can just. I mean, considering that you have pretty much the Captain Planet spheres, sphere grid here of Earth, Wind, Fire, Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, Heart, as your big sphere colors. I'm sorry. When you have red is burning, and green is, I mean, at that point it's just simply okay, cool. So, man, when we needed the Avatar, he was missing because he can cast all 4 magic types. I mean, cool. We form a circle, and we form Captain Planet. The thing here is that with Mage the Ascension is that it was about how to combine your spheres, and that your Arete told you the scale that you were able to. So your combination of Arete plus number of spheres equals, and sphere combinations equaled cool spell effect. But that game has the problem of paradox. You can't be vulgar. Vulgar bad. Vulgar gets your ass beat by reality. And as a technocrat, as somebody who plays a technocratic union character more often than not, yes, I will happily show up to go kill a traditionalist who's being vulgar and being a reality deviant, because yes, the opening page to why the technocracy is the heroes and traditionalists are the villains is right, at least in my book. But the thing here is that the other reason why Mage the Ascension was so good is that every single discipline every single house or mage style what had a different take on how the spheres worked, and how so it wasn't just simply I'm from the techno world and I can do techno things. If you were a void engineer, how you did, how your methodology, how your paradigm mattered more and mattered on how you cast compared to say somebody who's from iteration X or from or from one of the there's a different way. Everybody's casting magic kind of the same, and mechanically yes, but it's the everything is interesting and works. You just really can't say I am a firebender. I use the fire magic to cast the fire spells and make the fire go do things. And I might mix a little bit of earth into it so that way I could make Birdie Rock that also gives you a concussion. But it also has a rocket on the back because I put techno magic in it. That makes almost no sense. The problem with creating a magic system is that you either go so big brain where it's Mage the Ascension or Ars Magica, where God help you, we're going to have a wonderful debate on how every spell works and how I can hide the fact that I'm changing how reality works to give me more money, is a lot different than just simply saying I cast rock magic or I make the wind blow. And
yeah,
Wheel of Time, at least.
Well,
what was that?
Oh, I was just saying I didn't realize you were done. I weren't done, but I was going to mention the fact that I actually have an example of a spell that, like, not going to capture all the essence, but gives a good example of to at least what I'm thinking of, like what you can do with this magic at, I'd say mid-level.
Okay.
Bag of angry hornets with green, blue, and silver. It creates a temporary hornets that will sting the fuck out of anybody, and the poison effects last. Though the bees will disappear. Well, the hornets technically, but
All I can think of is Nicolas Cage. The bees, the bees.
Not the bees.
I gotta say that I love Mage the Ascension. We kind of had a live action, but not really live action game in Springfield for a while. Travis might remember Big Black Charles. He was a very interesting character, but he ran a Mage Chronicle for a while, and one of the first things that he forced the players to do once they became a little, I guess you'd say, coven. What do you call a bunch of mages together? Is it a coven or not?
Coven?
Coven works.
Okay. Well, all the mages get together, and
Chantry would also be the more accurate.
Chantry?
Yeah, Chantry would be a more accurate term for it. But
well, there's a set of railroad tracks on Sangamon Avenue, right next to where the old battlegrounds used to be, and he was running with what he knows, so he could put it in the players' minds very easily. And on these railroad tracks were 4 hopper cars that were loaded, and all he wanted the players to do was take one of the cars and move it to a switch yard on the other side of town. In Mage, one of the biggest forms of currency, better than diamonds, is quintessence.
yes.
And all 4 hopper cars were loaded with quintessence. But because the players are young 20-something men, instead of them saying, we'll disconnect this one here and push it down to the rail yard where our contact can take it and we can get paid, instead, they tried commandeering a train engine to move all 4 cars. And they spent more time fucking with the locomotive than what really needed to happen. And so what happened was the players lost out on this opportunity to be given quite a bit of resources for their future endeavors. They failed because they could not get the cars moved. They just needed one. They opted to try to go for all four. Got to give them credit, but they really fouled up on that.
Go
And
big or go home.
yeah, Charles was one of the best GMs for MTA that I've ever seen. I don't know what happened to him. I think he's still in Springfield, Illinois, but he's highly recommended if you like first or second edition versions of White Wolf because he understood the world, and
Yeah.
that's one thing that you need to do if you play White Wolf's games, understanding their world. That you don't have to adopt the worldview of the authors, but you have to at least be able to interpret it and get the right feeling so the players that are playing the magicians can get the idea of the various hermetic orders that are operating around, and they can get the idea of like what werewolves might be operating in town, if there's a vampire or two hanging out in Springfield, Illinois, uh, what exact clans do they belong to. It was just such a fun integrated bowl to just you didn't have to play. You could just watch his table and be entertained. And that was the one thing I really liked about his games because he ran a great game for White Wolf. Ogre,
Yeah.
how's your Palladium game going?
It's going good. Um, Everybody's excited. They're having a great time, and they're wanting to come back. So there's that. They went on the first game. They went on a Lowe's run to get building supplies to fortify their compound. And for those who don't know, I'm running a Dead Rain game, which is the Palladium Zombie Apocalypse. So, and then this last game, last Thursday that I ran, they decided they went to Sam's Club to get some grub. They actually made it out with 2 pallets of food. Well, technically three, but 2 pallets of canned chicken and 1 pallet of dog food.
It's not bad.
No, that's great.
And they decided to
It-
jump over next door to the Walmart to see if they can get some of the stuff from the automotive section, which they managed to get. And they came up with a great idea. And what they did was they went from the automotive section across the store in the back and just ran down the food aisle and just grabbed what they could and ran back. On their way back, they made like a lot of racket to draw any zombies towards the back. And then they were going to go outside in their vehicles to the front and then go in and hit the pharmacy section for what they could. And we put a pause in the game right there. We're going to figure out how that goes because one of them spotted a zombie just sitting out in the main aisle right there. And he's like, okay, I'm going to sneak up behind it. Okay, make your roll. Made his roll. He snuck up behind it. I'm going to hit him in the back of the head with my crowbar. All right, roll to hit. Well, technically you hit it, but the way the Palladium system goes is you can hit the target. You can hit your target, but if you don't hit the armor, rating, then if you get a 5 or higher, you hit. But if you hit below the armor rating, you don't do any damage. The damage goes to the armor, or if you're wearing like a vest or something, your vest absorbs the damage, but if you have a natural armor rating, it it just the blow gets absorbed, and so that's what happened. So basically, he just announced to the zombie, "Hey, stupid, I'm right behind you," and that's where we had to put it on a pause. And when next we meet, we're gonna have a little combat. Start with the combat session to see
I
how
didn't know
that
zombies
goes.
had. I didn't know zombies had natural armor. Well, natural
Yeah,
armor rating, I should say.
yeah, yeah. In Palladium, yeah, and it's they're pretty tough. They're not no weak ass
Oh
zombies
yeah.
that.
I would expect them, if nothing else, just to be mini tanks of SDC. No, I just didn't know they had a natural armor rating.
Yeah, it's a yeah. They have a armor rating of 14.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's 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 literally like a baby dragon in Palladium Fantasy.
yeah. But you'll like pick off the meat, but if you don't hit now, one of them, Shadow, he's been holding back and picking them off. He's got a sniper rifle. He's got a rifle with a scope. He's picked
Yeah.
several of them off. He's hit it in like 2 shots. The head just it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
But this time it was done up close and personal with the crowbar, and instead of getting the flap, is a hi. So
Hmm.
I have an idea for for your game if you decide to get kind of wonky with it. Now follow me here.
is that cheese?
It's a view from Reddit. Uh, I don't know if this is true or not. It looks like it's AI, but it's supposed to be the cheese caves of Springfield, Missouri.
Cheese, Jesus.
I could tell you that's not for one reason. They do not have space in between the cheese. You need to be able to flip it.
Um, I don't know which of these might be true.
The picture like go to your left, the second row. Oh, okay, below the big racks. One more down.
This one.
Now one more down. That one. Now that's what a cheese cellar looks like. There's gaps, just enough gap in between each cheese. Someone or something can grab it, pull it out, flip it over, put it back.
Okay.
Aging cheese is actually a fairly labor-intensive process.
Yeah. This is supposed to be a climate-controlled area where they freeze the cheese, so they have dairy product in the future.
Hmm.
It's one of the many cave systems. Apparently, there's like 26 to 50 of these across America, but this one in Springfield, Missouri, has like 250,000 pounds of cheese because of its no location.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of cheese.
I just wanted to say 250,000 pounds of cheese because that to me sounds amazing. Getting in there first, you're going to see views kind of like this. And then when you get in there, it's a lot of this. I've been in some of the stores caves before, and it's big enough to turn a truck around in.
Oh yeah.
But
Well, a proper cheese vault has cheese that's going to be sitting there for quite some time, so they need a lot of room.
yeah, so I just had an idea. Maybe you'll run with it. Maybe you'll fucking love it. But I thought you'd like that.
Well, I'm running it in the city of San Antonio. So
I'm not aware of any cheese caves in Helotes. I'm sorry.
yeah, You know the San Jose mission?
Yes,
Yeah, that's where they're holed up. That's their compound.
that's a good area to be in.
Yeah. Uh,
I would not say that's a bad spot. I've not been there too extensively, but I've been around there, and I've got to say that you could probably make it to where there's one entrance and one exit, and that's it. I might be wrong.
um. Well, there's like four. One on north, south, east, and west. The one in the back is the problem because there's not like a door or wall or anything right there. It's just open, so you'd have to build something there. The other three, there's doors there, but if somebody was really determined you can get through it, you'd have to reinforce it, and that's why they went to Lowe's,
Hmm.
and they got lumber and building supplies and um, seeds because there's an open area in the center of it where you can plant corn, wheat, whatever. So and it's not too far from the San Antonio River. So so
Water's not a real issue. Shouldn't have problems with getting filtration systems temporarily set up just because you have a value of large military bases here and locations where we can get a hold of desalination equipment and water filtration equipment.
yeah,
It's just a thought for those that are unaware of what we're talking about. The Missions National Historical Park is right here, and right next to it, San Juan, right next to it, and you've got the lovely San Antonio River.
no, San Jose, not San Juan.
Okay, my
San
bad.
Jose is go a little bit west. Okay, go north. Follow Roosevelt on up.
Fuck, Roosevelt, where you at?
Uh, yeah, right there. Yeah, see, yeah, you got Stinson. Yeah, you got Stinson
That's the
Airfield
Stinson
right there.
Airfield.
Uh huh.
Keep
Yeah,
going north or no?
go north. You're gonna go about a mile north of Military Drive there.
Here we are.
Yeah, there you go.
Not a bad spot for a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. You see that you see that section just north of the marker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that right there. The mission, or yeah, that's the mission itself. This the wall. They have little tiny apartments in there. Uh, I say little tiny, but they're big enough you can fit a small family in there. Mom, dad,
I
and a
didn't
couple
find
of
any
kids.
vaults, but I did. This was the closest cheese factory I could find. It's a good distance though, so it's not exactly close.
Are you sharing that?
I just put the name in private chat.
Oh, okay. Riverway Creamery, is that here in San Antonio?
No, I could
Okay.
not actually find the name of where it is. It's like in the middle of a giant spider web of roads,
Okay.
which
Not
is to
very
the
often.
southeast of San Antonio.
All right.
But the church is still an active church, and
Badass.
so yeah.
So here's our little cheese spot in San Antonio. This is a little further north. Here's 35, and this is just north of the Shirts area.
They're trying 1604.
1604 is right here.
Yeah. Universal City. Okay, I know the area.
Okay. Yeah, more than likely, the game that he's running in San Antonio is going to be fucking badass. Travis had an interesting question. How often do players manage to actually get a headshot?
Um. Well, like I said, Shadow. He's gotten several. He's taken down a couple of zombies. But he's got the skills. He's got his character has the skill plus the weapon for it. So he's got those bonuses stacked up, so he can get that headshot. Um, it, Not every time, but enough to make it count. Let's just say he's managed to stop the moan.
Nice.
60% of the time, it works every time.
So
There you go.
the time that I was reading Dead Rain, it actually felt like I was reading back through Mission Systems Failure, which is the anti-bug game from 1999 that Palladium did, and both systems look like they're heavy on like the fights are really punishing. When Travis is reading Dead Rain, it seems like it really fucking just is. You have to be very smart about attacking zombies.
Yeah.
Well, here's the difference between Dead Rain and System Failure. In Dead Rain, there's at least a modicum of hope because if you, as bad as the world is, ultimately there are places you can go where there's no zombies, or at least you can avoid zombies. In System Failure, they have control of satellites and are actively looking for you.
Yeah.
You can't even do agriculture because they'll, somebody we haven't conquered yet.
Well, there is the hope of going to Boulder, Colorado, where that's isolated. So if they do go to Boulder, they have to actually physically come out of the electrical system grid that they teleport through, and then they have to actually get into the proper. Boulder's like one of the last stands, the last bastion of hope. Uh, Zombies in Dead Rain are brutal, much more brutal than standard zombies in most games for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever you guys get your cheese, make sure you grab a pallet of Miralax to go with it.
Have you ever thought about going to sea to avoid the zombies?
It's up to the players, really. But there are 33 people in the compound. We've got four players, and yeah, and but I mean, ultimately, if they say next to this, let's head to the Gulf, you know, okay, I'll roll with it. But right now they're staying in San Antonio, trying to build up that compound, that mission. Uh, so like I said, it's up to the players if they want to head out to sea.
Nah,
There is the new thing in Corpus Christi now, right?
No,
Okay. Corpus just got their bridge. Do you know what I'm talking about now?
Uh-uh.
All right. So whenever you're going into Corpus Christi, where's it at? It's over here in Portland area, and this new bridge they got, the new Nueces Causeway, they've finally got constructed. They just built this bridge, and I can't really zoom in on it, but let me at least share screen. This thing was a boondoggle for like over a decade. They've been trying to get this thing set up for over a decade, and they took out a lot of the little chicanes and turns and bad shit. But this thing, it goes up and it goes up, and they redredged the bay. And that's an old picture of it. That's not the new picture. But the new bridge allows for Carnival Cruise Lines to come here and port up. Now, this is kind of impressive. And just to give you an idea of how big this area is, um, this little piece of gray matter is the Lexington.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
That used to be a big ship. Now it's considered a medium-sized carrier. You gonna give me what I want? No, you're not. Ah, no. Bad Google. Bad Google. You're not doing what I need you to. Okay. Bad Google. You're
Bad
not-
Google. How dare you do the thing I'm telling you to do?
Yeah.
instead of doing
Yeah.
what you did.
We have clearly operator error here. Okay. Oh God, Port Lavaca. No. There's Portland. This is a big causeway, and then yeah, give me this. Street view. I hope they updated this. But this is a big ass causeway. This is like full display of Texas road money. No, nope, nope, nope. Oh, and here's a construction photo of it. My wife has been having trouble with all sorts of things this weekend. Okay, so for the longest time, this thing was under construction, and like I said, they dredged it out. They got. Do they have the new Harbor Bridge? They don't even have the new photo of it. But this thing is huge, and it allows for a super tanker to port in here. More importantly, that allows for a Carnival cruise liner to come in here as well. Now, this area, big shipping area, it's the sixth or seventh most busy harbor in the states, but you can do a lot in this area, and there's a lot of boats here. If your players decide to go to sea, you have this entire little intimath here that you can go and get a ship. Granted, good luck. I hope you got an expert seaman to get it out, because this is treacherous as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Hmm.
But They do have the New Harbor Bridge set up. You do have a nice span you can go under. It's tall enough you could actually take a Lex underneath it if you get it demothballed.
Or if you're looking at the idea of trying to at least get it moving during the idea of the initial phases of a zombie apocalypse, the idea that you just blow the mooring line and cut the mooring lines, cut the anchor chain because you're probably not going to get it back up, and then just tugboat it out, pull it with tugs out into the harbor, so that way, and it's free floating and just moor it down with the tugs become its new mooring posts. They drop the anchors. They put it down into place, keep it from moving, and therefore you're not tied to the shoreline. Yeah, you might have a bit of problems trying to keep power on it, but now you have a large, very hot, miserable floating box in the middle of nowhere, but you can start doing something with it at that point forward. So because it doesn't have to move. It just has to not be on the shore with the ability for land access. And you can use launches and small boats in the harbor because it's obviously close to you're in Corpus Christi. Look at the area around it. There's going to be boats around there somewhere. You can just motor around, find somebody. Plus, if you're looking at the idea that the initial mass exodus of people who weren't prepared, not thinking ahead, are probably going to bolt to sea because they're thinking, well, the land's deadly and the sea's safe, and they're just going to go out there and probably die somewhere out there in like 2-3 weeks. All you got to start doing there is, and at that point, if you're smart and you prepared a bit, you can now start trolling around a bit and looking for the emergency locator beacons, and start looking around for all the people who probably are dead because they weren't prepared, and start pulling supplies off their ships and preparing and finding survivors and preparing for your chance to come back to shore. And at that point, because you're now hopefully by now you've managed to salvage fuel, salvage supplies, salvage equipment, salvage a bigger, better boat, because again, well, hopefully you went to sea better prepared with enough supplies, enough ammunition to either become a pirate or become something better. Clear the few zombies because I guarantee you that if the zombie virus, existed in a setting, that some of the people probably went zombie, and so you have to do some light clearance, probably pistol rounds, light SMG rounds, enough to be able to drop 2 to 4 zombies that are going to be on a boat, because that's most people's family size, 2 to 5. Probably 1 or 2 have turned and ate the rest of the family, so you're going to deal with 1 or 2 actual zombies on the boat. You clear it, you probably clear the boats, and you just move forward, and you start working from there. The thing is that if you're staying on land, now you have a mobile base that you can just tool up and down the coast looking for somewhere safe to be able to make a landing and and begin to work. You really can't do a lot when you're trapped in a building, especially if the zombies are drawn to you. How do you extract yourself from that situation? Here in Texas, you're not above, you're not north of the freezing line where you can hope the zombies freeze so you can be able to escape. You're in perpetual heat and misery because it's Texas and you're by the coast. So one hurricane's going to fuck your day up, especially as slowly but surely you're going to lose access to the weather, to weather satellites and the ability to predict weather. So you are not going to have the ability to predict when a major storm is going to come rolling through and wrecking your shit. And so you got to start, doing more. It's going to come down to a lot of fun creativity, and this is why it's like, C okay if prepared. C hates you. C wants to kill you, and will kill a lot of people. But again, you're looking at the initial panic, and question was how fast was the follow civilization up until that point. If there's time to prepare, like a few weeks of, hey, there's a slow roll going on here, or a few months of slow rolling, but then you run into the actual the final collapse of civilization, the point where you probably lost where electricity, communications, fuels, and one of these three broke, and thus the lights go out, and that's when everybody begins that final panic, and all the idiots who didn't get out fast enough, early enough, begin the final mass panic fleeing from cities, and that's the disaster point. And you're kind of, and how well did the system function before that point, and how did the government handle the collapse as things were coming apart? Because civilization's like a turbine, and once it hits that, it'll run until it doesn't, and when it comes apart, it's going to come apart fast and chaotically, and in a messy way. Only because I was trying to listen to some guy trying to go like, oh, but I have a tank, and I'm like, there's not, like, those things don't run very well. They don't run forever. They don't last forever.
Tanks are not known as fuel efficient vehicles.
No, not just fuel efficient, but do you have the parts to keep them running? Do you have the filters? For every hour you drive it, you have 10 hours of maintenance to do on it. Do you have the technical knowledge?
Hold up, Kai, because the Sherman, you can actually, with a trained crew, you can knock that down to about 4 hours of maintenance per 1 hour of running.
Okay, but I don't know how
getting that good in the apocalypse is going to be difficult. Good luck.
I know.
I get it.
Well, the trick is with that is the key word with that is trained crew.
Yeah. And Mr. Abrams doesn't like anything. Mr. Abrams hates everything. Mr. Abrams wants to break down if it looks funny at things. So Mr. Abrams doesn't like the idea that you don't have a trained crew and a trained staff who's going to fix this bitch.
Yeah, just introduce him to the steam tanks from Age of Sigmar.
Well, here's
where do I find one of those?
to tell you about the lore of kind of a brief rundown of how things went south. I must iterate. I must stress.
Okay.
The game was written in 2008.
Right.
Okay. The game was written in 2008. And it starts with a pandemic that started in China.
Oh.
Again, the book was written in 2008.
I would like to see the Palladium forums, if they still have them up, about how this game predicted something again.
I have several books that are written about the same time and have similar predictions on where the virus came from. And I think the entire universe has decided that, at least the West has decided, that China will be the source of the end of the world. So,
and it just like swept over the earth. People getting sick, like hospitals filled up, and so they mobilized the National Guard, and bases filled up, and they had the MASH units, whatever, set up in parking lots, and they used churches and schools, and all these places filled up, and all these sick people were there. And then within 24 hours, all the sick people died.
And
then they got up. And before anybody realized it, and you got to think that, doctors, nurses, military personnel, paramedics, police, they're all right there. So instantly they're overrun. So the people you call for help they're gone.
Yeah.
And by
Okay.
the
So
time by the time anybody kind of figures out, hey, we got a zombie apocalypse situation here. They're in the streets. They're taking people down. And
okay. So
it words. It went quick.
yeah. Okay. No problem. It's a it's a feasible. It's a feasible way of making it work. I can. All right.
Oh, with one major caveat. Unlike a lot of zombie movies where you could potentially have a zombie useless or quote unquote resurrected because so much of it is eaten by the other zombies, there's only a handful that actually eat flesh. Most of them just kill you, like strangle you or whatever. So your body is
Yeah.
perfectly viable afterwards almost every time.
See, the zombies in Palladium and Dead Rain here, they don't go after flesh. There's a handful that do, like you said. There's a handful that do, but it's the potential psychic energy, the PPE. So they're just out to kill you because everybody has PPE. Every living thing has PPE, and when you die, that PPE that's released is doubled and released, and so that's what the zombies are after. And there are several different types of zombies. It's not just your standard zombies. Um,
Okay. All right.
because already I've thrown at the group your slouchers, which are your standard zombies. That's pretty much every time they go out, they're going to encounter at least one. You know, more in some cases, but in most cases. But uh, when you go out there, the slouchers are what you're going to most commonly go at encounter, and then you have the crawlers, which is basically a sloucher where the legs have been cut off. So for whatever reason, they're just crawling on the ground, going after you. They can fit into smaller places because, like, maybe they don't have any arms, and it's like being pushed by their own legs across the ground or whatever. Maybe all they have is their arms. They've come across a couple of those. Another one I've just thrown at them that was in the Sam's Club was a pattern zombie, which a pattern zombie is a zombie that has some semblance of what it was when it was alive, and so there's a pattern. They keep repeating a pattern, like the one they encountered was shopping. It just kept going around in a circle looking at different things on the shelf and in bins or whatever. And pretty much as long as you don't mess with it, it'll ignore you and live out its pattern. Just keep repeating itself. I saw there was one where he was just out there pushing a lawnmower just around in the yard. Where a zombie was just pushing, and that would be a pattern zombie. You also have thinker zombies, which are typically what it sounds like. They're slightly smarter than your average zombie. They can, recognize. Hey, there's a car here that wasn't there 5 minutes ago. So, and a thinker zombie could probably even figure out how to use a gun. Maybe not how to reload it. So once it's out of bullets, it's can't do anything about it. But and then there's like the big Mac Daddy of them all, which is the walking graveyard. And this particular one isn't a zombie; it's a lot of zombies. And basically, whenever everyone's dying, they a mass grave was dug up, and they put all the bodies in there, and they dumped chemicals on it to speed up the decay, or keep diseases from forming or whatever, and then they covered them up. And then whenever the zombies came up, whenever the bodies started rising up as zombies, you had a chemically melded together group of zombies. And it can either be like standing like this, have like a something like an elephant or whatever, a huge elephant, or it could be like a centipede type thing, and has like 30 or so feet, a dozen heads, 40 arms, and it is a horror to behold.
No need with warpstone for this one. Yes, yes.
Say again.
No need for warpstone with this one. Yes, yes. I don't know if you actually know that, but that's the way. It's Skaven, or best way to describe Skaven. Bone crusher, whack smack this man thing's nutballs.
Okay.
But no, you basically just described a hell pit abomination from the Skaven.
But and that's just a pretty much. And I have all 8 books of the Dead Rain series. There's only 8 of them. I have them all, and all but one of them have several different types of zombies in them. And the one that doesn't pretty much has the compilation of all the other books. So, so there's
Makes sense.
a lot of different zombies, a lot of different types of zombies.
So I gotta ask this. This is about your Dead Rain game.
Uh-huh.
Do you expect the party to prepper their way out of all of this, or do you think that there's going to be a half party kill that happens? I'm just curious.
Well, the longer the game goes on, the more the chance is that there's going to be some deaths in the party.
Yeah.
Not all the characters are going to make it to the end. And
I've read enough of the books. I haven't played the game myself, but I read enough of the books to know this much. This isn't a game where it's like, my character, if we play long enough, my character is just going to be great. No, this is a game where it's, if you play long enough, you're raking a new character. Period.
Yeah, it's not it's not a game for those who have issues with their character dying. You play this game unless you're only playing like 2 or 3 games and calling it quits. If you're playing long term, expect your character to die. Be surprised if your character doesn't.
That sounds great.
And then beware the character coming back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you have, well, Nerdy Knock, I blocked out for a minute, so I don't know if he talked about them, but you have even more fun zombies with the, you don't know what they're called, but basically, they think they're human. To the point that they will they will literally try to get in with people, and then, like, secretly, and they will actually, in their own fucking heads, believe the person attacked them and them killing them was truly self-defense.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah. And they will. Yeah, the mock zombie will. And the mock zombie truly believes that they are human, and they will work with the group, and they will try to help with the group, but inevitably they will turn on the group.
Yeah, they will do
It's not a
everything
matter of
within their
if; it's a
power
matter
to
of
get.
when.
Yeah, they will do everything in their power to get one member by themselves. Period.
Yeah. Think of a Jack in the Box, except whenever the clown pops out, it eats you.
Hmm?
Yeah.
I'm kind of I'm thinking that might be actually a good point for us to wrap things up a bit. Six Nation, he says maybe a funnel adventure. Which, if you're not familiar with funnels, a lot of times, like if you play like a game like DCC or other low character prep games, you have a funnel where players will have like one, two, three, maybe four characters they start off with, and they just have to get these characters to the end goal of the adventure for that session, and then they will get more abilities as they are reflecting upon their time as a zero level character. It's a neat concept, but it's used best in DCC that I've seen so far. I've not seen it used in other games. I like the idea of it, just haven't figured out, okay, do I want to put this in my game? No. My characters are apprentices at the start, then they become journeymen. That's about as close as I want to get to that. Um, Crafting, do you have any other questions for Kai?
Not at the moment. I mean, like if we were to start down that list, it'd be like question after question after question, and probably best we just go, yeah, we can follow up some more questions next time.
We might do a stream for this in 2 weeks. I know I'm not going to be running a game, but once I'm done doing stuff with the house and shuttling stuff over there, I want to come back and relax a little bit.
Definitely.
What? Yeah. Kai, didn't you just add a new G.I. Joe poster to your wall?
Yes, I did. Over here, I really can't see it very clearly, but it's my his my his tank poster over here. Yes. Yeah, there it is.
Do you love the 80s? All right.
Correction, I like Cobra and the Decepticons, but yes. Because I think these days it would be really, really hard to get enough people to go, I want to be a Joe. And be like, would you like to overthrow the current government? Yes. Like, do you feel like you're angry at corruption and a horribly bad government? I am. Join Cobra. What do you provide? Health benefits. We have hidden bases. We have vacations and benefits and everything else you'd ever want. Where do I sign? Over here. All you gotta do is overthrow the government and corporations. I'm up for this.
Ogre, do you have any questions or statements you want to make before you wrap it up here?
Oh, I was just going to say I use Cobra to help explain rifts. I tell people rifts. Think of RoboCop and Merlin fighting side by side against Cobra.
That
I
works
have
out
them
really
right
well.
here.
Oh.
Yes, I have my his tags to go with my his tag poster.
And Ogre, do you have your sessions? Are they on your YouTube channel?
No, I don't. I'm probably going to figure out how to record them and then post them, but I'm not going to be doing them live.
Okay.
I talked to everybody, and everybody said that they'd feel uncomfortable doing it live, but would be okay if it was recorded and then posted. So
That probably work out best because the zombie game needs to have a high threat matrix, and lose that intensity when you start talking to chat.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the consensus, but I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't unless we took like a break or something. I wouldn't really pay attention to chat. I would focus on the game and the players.
That's completely okay, dude.
Yeah.
Oh god, the vulture would have been huge.
I would view it like a play.
I think your players will respect you more for that.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think it's great that you're doing this. I'm wishing you the best, and I wanted to be part of it, but I don't have time right now, and I'm sorry.
That's all right. Um, I'm wanting to I'm wanting to like build a YouTube channel, and I'm looking into it. I'm going to start. I'm going to start by focusing on like Palladium games. Like explaining character creation and going through and doing a deep dive of all the different games that they got. I know it's been done before. I know it's being done now, but it'll be done with my perspective. So
That sounds like a lot of fun, and I wish you the best of luck with that because Rifts is really underplayed on live streams and on recorded stations. I think there's a lot that players that want something different than 5e or whatever variant of D&D they're playing, I think they would welcome that into the game space a lot more than somebody says, well, I'm just going to run like BX or Rule Cyclopedia or 5e. If you're like, no, I'm going to run, systems failure or Dead Rain, a lot of people would be like, really? And they would you'd get the views just based on the fact that you're trying to run that in that system. I think a lot of people would fucking welcome it.
I think so too. I've heard a lot of people are like saying, it's like I would like to branch out from 5e, but it's all I know. It's all my players know.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't think I'd have time to learn a new system. And Palladium is not as difficult as some people make it out to be.
No.
It really isn't.
It's a really good system. Not my favorite by any means, but it's really good. And more people should try to broaden their game knowledge. I think they would enjoy it. I really do. It's got enough flavor to it. It's got enough uniqueness that once you introduce players to it, the game stands on its own.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Bruce, and tonight you had a chance to see me with some friends, and appreciate everybody being here from Six Nation 31 Kings to Travis as the Coyote, Travis 1983 there. And for those of you that I did not mention, the lurkers and such, guys, take care of yourselves. It's going to get interesting, and keep your eyes peeled to this channel, and be on the lookout for Nerdy Ogre's YouTube. It will be on the way. It just